On what basis you are going to tell this is a residential house? Tell me, guys. So for example, house is
It's like
yeah,
bedrooms, kitchen.
yeah, same way. So everything should be aligned properly. Your hall, bedroom, kitchen, master room, bathroom, everything should be there. Then we call as a, we can able to live, we can able to stay in this house. We call it a residential house, right? Only the walls are there, then nothing is there. Then we call as a godown. There is not a residential house, right? The same way, whenever we call as a data warehousing project, it has to support, it has to satisfy the some properties, some characteristics. If you satisfy those all the characteristics, then only we called as a, this project is called as a data warehousing project. Okay, so those are the four characteristics are there. So these four characteristics, it has to support the, it has to satisfy the data warehousing. One is the subject oriented, one is the integrated, one is the non-volatile, one is the time variant. So these are the four characteristics it has to satisfy. Then only that project we call as a sub data warehousing project. Okay. So what is meant by subject oriented? We can see properties. Properties are characteristics of the data warehousing. Both are the same. Okay. First one will be subject oriented. Okay. For example, if you want a glass of water, so what you will do, guys? For drinking water, I want one glass of water. What you will say? What you will do directly? You will go on kitchen and then you will get the water. Correct? Or if I want any blanket, what you will do? So directly we can go to the bedroom or wherever you are storing to the blankets. We are going to that place. We are picking. The same way here also, the subject oriented means, so it's a categorizing of the same data, whatever the data we are getting, right? The same data. For example, sales is a one data. Sales is a one information. So we are under stores, right? For example, take the 100 stores. Central staff is a 100 stores are there across the India country. Or take any banking. So bank is there in India or America or UK. Different countries are there in the bank. Okay. So whatever the data they are extracting, the same category of the information. So they are going to place into one table or one place. That is a subject oriented. Okay. For example, the transactions happen in the simple way. Take a central example. Whatever the transactions happen, the sales happen. All the sales data for each store, they are going to extract and then place into the one sales table. Then we can analyze the sales data in easily. Right? We can able to analyze the sales data in easily. For example, store one data, they're going to separate, they're going to store into the data warehouse separate table. Store one table to store one sales table. Store two data, again they're loading into the separate some other table they created. Like this, if you load the data in separate, whatever the data we're extracting here, right? Sources. This is store one, this is store two, this is store three. You can take example. So this data they're loading into the separately store one table, this store two table, like that. If you analyze, if you store like this, then we can't analyze this data, right? Properly we can't analyze. Whatever the same kind of information, category of information is there, right? The functional data, that data they're going to extract and then store into the same place. Okay, then we can analyze the data easily. That is the subject oriented. Clear, guys? That is the subject oriented. For example, say data warehouses are designed to help you analyze the data. The main purpose of the data warehousing is here to analyze the data, right? For example, to learn more about your company sales data, you can build a warehouse that concentration on the sales. Using this warehouse, you can answer question like, who was our best customer for this item last year? What is that meaning question? Who was our best customer for this item, particular item for last year? For example, the people are using the same brand every time. For example, you take a soap, you can't change, keep on the soap, you can't modify, right? You're using only one soap in the keep on, or you can say any brand. So you are going to every day, you are going to take that brand only. You can't change the brand every time. So whatever your favorite thing, right? So that item only you can going to buy every time. You can't buy any other item. The same way, we can able to analyze the data. If you use all the sales information, you are going to store into the same place. Then we can easily analyze. So this item, how many times, who is the best customer, how many times this customer is brought for this item. We can able to analyze these kind of things. Okay, that is the main objective of the subject oriented. Means it is to focus on a single area, single functionality. So whenever they are extracting the data, that data they are going to store into the subject oriented, subject wise. So the sales wise, it going to store into one place. Next, same inventory data, how much stock is there, how much stock is there you have, still how much left, how much stock is sold already, how much is left. So the inventory will be, they're going to store into the same place. Next, PO, purchase order, how much you ordered, how many brands you ordered, how much you receive the vendors, from which vendor you are going to ordering the data. So these all are we called as a subject oriented. Okay, these all are we called as a subject oriented. So it is focusing on a single functional area, categorizing the data into same kind of data. They are going to categorizing into one place. That property should be satisfy the data warehousing projects. Wherever extracting the data from multiple sources, all the data you have to categorizing into the subject wise. Okay, that property should be satisfied for the data warehousing project. Clear, guys? Next will be integrated. Next will be integrated. So integrated is nothing but the, just now I explained, what are the source systems are there. For example, here 50 source, 30 sources. It could be more than one source. It could be one source or more than one sources, guys, in the real time. Real time we can't predict this many sources, only 3 sources. We can't predict in the real time. Based on their requirements, so what based on their business, how many places we are getting the data. That each data we are getting the, wherever we are getting the same place, that will call as a one source. Okay, so it could be either it could be one place or more than one place, either 10, 20, 30, it could be n number of sources. Okay, so all each and every source, okay, it has to integrate the data. So whatever the tool we are going to use here, ETL tool, that tool it has to support the, it has to connect the each and every source system. For example, I am able to connect the database, I can't able to connect the web application or Salesforce or some other database. Then we can't able to get the data from whichever we are not connecting. Then we can't analyze that here somewhere the data is missing here. We can't analyze proper data here. Okay, that is the reason is a data warehouse is a integrated. Means all the source systems, whatever the source systems are there, we have to integrate into one system. That is nothing but the integration. Multiple source systems they are going to integrate into one system, one unique system. Clear, guys? That is a integrated. Subject oriented, integrated. Next one will be non-volatile. So what is meant by volatile? What is meant by volatile? Volatile means keep on changing. Volatile is nothing but the keep on changing. Non-volatile means we can't able to change. Once whatever the data entered into the data warehousing, right here, whatever the data is there, these data we are extracting and then loading to the data warehousing. Okay, these data we can't able to modify, we can't able to do any manipulation these data, because we have to analyze this data. If you do the any modification, for example, your day one sales happen 1000 rupees. Example, I'm saying day one the sales happen 1000 rupees in the source system. The original sales happen only 1000. Okay, but after loading into the data warehousing, if you do modification and then you can say 10,000. This is the original value. This is the correct way of the analyzing. Okay, then there is no point of to analyze the data because you manipulated the data here. Then what is the point of to analyzing? Okay, there is no point of the analyzing the data. If you do any manipulation data, there is no use to analyze the data, right? That is the reason whatever the data is there here, source data, once that data we are extracting and loading into the data warehousing, once the data entered into the data warehouse, we can't manipulate the data. If you do the manipulation, there is no point of to analyzing the data. That is the reason data warehouse is a non-volatile proper characteristic, non-volatile data.